All right, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello, my name is Ritch Galvin. I'm the theater instructor at North Platte Community College.
Well, it's nice to meet you. How long have you been involved in theater?
I've been in theater really since my senior year in high school. My drama instructor in high school got me somewhat interested in it, and I did a couple of theatrical things for my high school at Grand Island Central Catholic, and from there I went to college at Chadron State College. I didn't really get involved in theater there until about halfway through my sophomore year, but that's when I started working. I got a work study job with the theater department, building sets and helping them get the plays up and going and ready, and that just turned me into a theater major.
And enjoyed it ever since.
Yes.
When did you decide to start acting? Since you said you were part of the stage crew.
Well, acting kind of started because, I got so involved with doing all the set stuff. I just went to an audition one day and I got cast, so that just kind of fueled that a little bit. I knew I wanted to work sometime in the directing field, and so I knew I had to learn acting first before I could move into directing. And so most of my time at Chadron State College was focused on learning acting. And then when I went to Kansas State University to get my master's degree, that's where I really got to focus on directing.
And then when did you decide to be a professor in it? When did you want to do that?
Oh, I pretty much knew that I wanted to be a teacher. That was one of the things I wanted to be when I was in high school. And then when I got to doing theater, I wanted to do theater. And so it was like, oh, how do I do theater and be a teacher? Well, I just become a theater teacher. So that just kind of made the most sense. So I just started working towards I wanted to work with people who wanted to make a career of theater. And so that's why I chose to teach at college level and not necessarily the high school level, because those kids kind of do it for kind of extracurricular activities, and it's really fun, and it's just kind of a social gathering, but I really wanted to work with creating theater professionals, people who would hopefully move on and make a career out of acting or stagecraft. And we have lots of students here at the community colleges, one who's trying to be a costume designer, one who wants to be an actor, one who wants to do technical things, one that wants to be a stage manager. So we have a wide variety of careers and fields that you can find in the theater department. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to start shaping those people who want to make a career out of this.
Very cool. Who inspires you?
Well, I'm a really kind of crazy movie fanatic. That's where kind of my obsession with the theater actually started, with watching a lot of films, because my high school, I used to spend hours and hours and hours just watching movies, and I remember the first time I saw Casablanca when I was like 16, and I thought it was just amazing, and then just that kind of fueled it, and I started looking at great film directors like John Huston and Howard Hawks and William Wilder, and got really interested in their films. And then when I started finding the theater world, I started looking towards Mike Nichols and Jerry Zaks, and people looking at the stuff that they've been doing, and that I found that very inspirational as well too. And inspiration comes from not just people that I admire. I can be inspired by just a student walking into my classroom, or I'm inspired by something I see on television, or a heartwarming story that was on the news can be very inspirational. And so as far as my passion for the theater, it really came from those first film directors, and then I had teachers at Chadron State who were very inspirational and very much mentors to me and what I wanted to do. Jerry O'Connor comes to mind, and a woman named Casey D. Moranville were just excellent in making me the person I am today, and starting that passion for the theater that I have today.
I'm going to kind of go off. I have some cards in front of me of the questions to ask, but I know that since you've been at this college, you haven't done any play that people are really familiar with. And you kind of go out of the comfort zone of some plays and stuff. What makes you choose to do those kinds of plays?
Well, every year in the fall, we do something from classical theater. We try to do something that has some kind of basis in theater history. Like this year, we're doing The Braggart Soldier, which is a Roman comedy. Last fall, we did Antigone, which was a Greek tragedy. We try to kind of expose the community to maybe some classical theater works that are works that I think that, a lot of people should know and be aware of. Another Moliere play that we did a couple of years back called The Imaginary Invalid, which is, and you can see, if you would come see Emilius Gloriosos, you could see that this play has been inspirational to so many forms of entertainment today. If you look at the movies that Will Ferrell does, the movies that Adam Sandler does, they're very much inspired through that vein of what the Romans were doing with their comedies. And so I like showing something classical in the fall, and then when we get to the spring, I try to focus more on American contemporary plays that are, kind of say something about the American existence, and so I try to pick something that's in that kind of vein that deals with issues that are kind of unique to American literature and have that vein of American. They're usually American playwrights and, well, always American playwrights in the spring, but something contemporary that is maybe not as well known, but at least something that I always hope that the North Platte audience can connect to in some way.
That's very cool. I always wanted to know that because I've gone to your plays for years, and it's like, why do you choose this play?
Yeah. That's kind of the modus that we do: classical in the fall and contemporary, American contemporary in the spring.
Very neat. Very good. Last question, then
Sure.
You can go back to work. Do you have a particular performance that you can tell us either you directed and acted in, and then if you wouldn't mind telling us the story?
Oh my gosh, there's not one. I mean, every performance I've done has some special place in my heart. I remember my first time I got a professional work at the Post Playhouse in Fort Robinson State Park that summer. I was hired to be the master electrician that summer. And I was the worst master electrician there ever was. I electrocuted people. I started things on fire. It was a very horrible experience. And it was my first professional theater experience, so it was very daunting. I got in trouble a lot. I probably almost got fired several times throughout the semester, or throughout the summer. And I never understood why. But I learned so much from that summer, even though it was a horrible, and everybody hated me because I was always screwing up, and I felt very isolated. But it did teach me a lot, and that's why I kind of always, even though it was the worst summer of my life, it was the best summer of my life too, because I did learn so much from that experience. I learned what it takes to be a professional. I learned that theater isn't just a hobby. It's something that needs work and dedication and effort, and more than even creativity, being creative. It's more about work and putting in the effort and knowing that there's an audience coming in to see your product. And you look at art and to call it a product, well, it kind of is. And to get people to admire it, you have to get them in. And so we try here too at the college to put forth this professional looking theater production, and it kind of stems from my experience that summer. It's like, these people are coming to see you. You should be putting 120% effort at all times. It's just like how the sports teams put in the work that they do. That's the kind of work that I expect my theater practitioners to do, to put in, so that they're putting on their best effort every performance. And I push and I strive them to. And that's what I learned that summer, and that's still kind of something that still drives me today.
Great. Thank you, Ritch.
You're welcome. Thank you.